Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. My 1,410 subscribers. We broke 1,300 or 1,400. How do you say it? We broke 1,400. And I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you because there would be no need for me to talk if no one was listening. So today's topic is going to be the warrior within. But before we begin, you know the drill. Smash that like button and subscribe. Check out my books on Amazon, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, and you can read about the warrior within myself. And The Power is Within, both available on Amazon, and I'm working on a third book called The Way. Well, I may change the title, but it's the dynamics between men and women in dating, relationships, and life. What I've learned in my 62 years of 4 marriages, many long-term relationships, and many one-night stands and other tawdry affairs. Is that the word tawdry I would use? Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the warrior within each of us. Look throughout history. Look at our history. We have constantly been at war with somebody somewhere because we have that innate warrior within all of us. Now, you may be a coward, but the only difference between a coward and a hero is the hero faces what he fears and he gets a fulfillment and a satisfaction that the coward never experiences. I don't even like to use the word coward because in that coward there is a hero. If he could just find a way to face his fear. I'm telling you what, I've had the hell beat out of me more than once. And the reason I brought this topic up, or the reason that what motivated me to speak about this, because I was going to speak about something else, was I happened to watch the Dude Party, Modern Life Dating John, and I didn't know the show was going on yesterday. I missed the link because he sends links out. I'm one of the generals in the Hot Dude Army to be on. I wanted to be on the damn show, and I couldn't be on the last one he had because I really wasn't familiar with the topic, but this topic I could have spoken about. So I'm still kicking myself in the ass for missing it. But as I tell you guys, I wasn't supposed to be on there. If I were supposed to be on there, I would have saw the link. I would have been free yesterday. I had a client I had to meet up with, and that would have been that. But that's the way it goes. But sometimes it's hard for us to accept something that we wanted to do and didn't get to. So that's where I'm at today. But I gotta believe that it's all working for my good because I know it is. But so back to the war, and if you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com. That's my website. Check it out if you'd like to know more about me. So why do I want to speak about the warrior within? Because I remember when I was young, I was afraid. Some of the neighborhood kids would pick on me, and I would go home and tell my dad, hoping he would go say something to them or do something to them. Now, looking back in retrospect, I'm glad he didn't, although it didn't make me feel loved. But the reality is, he probably loved me more by not going out there and fixing all my problems. He would tell me, well, just go pick up a big stick and hit him with it. I'm like, shit, I'm afraid to do anything to these guys. They'll beat my ass. So I grew up feeling like a coward. Well, I was a coward, okay? And after repeated humiliations of people belittling me, embarrassing me, pushing me around, taking my lunch money, I got so fed up with it. I thought to myself one day when I was about 15, I think, I had been beat up before that. The neighborhood kid moved in and he beat me up, and then the bigger boy, the guy that went on to be the prosecutor and some representative in the state senate here, he went and beat up the guy who beat me up. He was kind of the, the savior of our neighborhood. So it's not surprising he went on to be in government. But still, I was afraid. So when I got to be about 15, I think, 14 or 15, probably around 15, I thought to myself after a couple more repeated humiliations, I thought, it can't be any worse getting beat up than this degrading, demoralizing feeling that I have inside of myself for not standing up against people who are belittling me, bullying me, and humiliating me. I thank God for bullies. I was bullied many times in my life, and I did bully people, okay? I'm not going to say probably because I know I did. It's just a pecking order. I don't look at it like they look at it now, like it's some horrible thing. Everybody bullies somebody sometime in their life. They may not look at it as bullying, but there are many ways to bully people. Okay, so what's the quickest way to stop a bully? Stand up to them. Go tell the teacher, go tell a policeman. The bully won't stop. You have to stand up to them. And even if he beats your ass, he won't try you again because he doesn't want a confrontation. Bullies pick on the weaker people, the ones that they know won't do anything. So if you continue to be passive and follow the narrative of our society today that tells you not to do anything, and I'm not advocating violence. I want to make sure that you understand that. I am advocating self-defense. I am advocating not to be a doormat. None of you should be a doormat for anyone else. And I don't believe anyone would tell you that you need to be a doormat. Now, I'm not saying that you should fight at the drop of every hat or every word or every cross look someone gives you, although I used to do that when I was younger. What are you looking at, boy? You eyeballing me? But I like to fight, so that's why I did it. I like to fight after I learned how to fight. Now, the first time I got into a fight, I lost. The guy got the best of me. I remember he was trying to get in this trailer, we call him mobile home, and I was inside. We were having a party, and he was one of two twins, and he was trying to get in the door, and it was cold as hell outside. It was in the wintertime. There was snow on the ground. I couldn't get the door open. I was going to let him in. Well, then he started calling me names or bad-mouthing me, and I thought, hey, you know what? Screw you. So I just walked away and left him standing outside there. So then someone else went and opened the door. Well, of course, he came in there and he called me out to fight. Well, I went out there with him and we got into a fight. I threw the first punch because I knew I was going to get in the fight. And we ended up down on the ground. We hadn't fallen down, but man, he was knocking the crap out of me. And he finally I couldn't stand up, it was so slick, but somehow or another, he was able to stand up. So it got up against this building, and he started slamming my head against the building. I was kind of halfway down. I thought, man, I better do something or I'm going to get the shit beat out of me. So I punched him a few times in the stomach, and then somehow it got broke up. And that was the end of the fight. Okay, but I felt great. I stood up for myself. Finally, I lost. He got the best of me, but yet, as a man, there's something about that you cannot substitute with anything. Because when you walk away from someone who is purposely bullying you, if you want to use that word, or degrading you, or trying to belittle you, it gives you a feeling of helplessness and powerlessness that I don't want to feel anymore in my life. I don't like that feeling. Maybe some of you have experienced that, and it sucks. And as a man, I don't think you can fulfill your purpose by continuing to back down from these bullies. I really don't. Now, I'm not saying you have to fight them every time. There are certain ways that some bullies try to use the words to bully you, and you can stand up to them with words. It doesn't have to be physical violence. You should be able to do both. You should be able to look someone in the eye and tell them your stance on a position and not be afraid. Maybe he's your boss and he has the power to fire you. Still in all, you should not take any crap from him. You've got to believe in yourself and trust in yourself. I remember I was working, another example, where I stood up to a man. I was working as a carpenter back when I was about, 18 or 19 years old. And the boss had hired this new carpenter. I hear music somewhere. The boss had hired this new carpenter, and he was telling me, get this, get that. And he was talking to me pretty derogatorily. And I finally looked up and I said, here's the deal, Al. I said, I'll do whatever you want me to, but you're going to ask me with respect or I won't do shit for you. I just looked at him, I said it, and I stopped right there. And he looked at me, he said, okay. From that time on, he didn't treat me like a dog. Now, a lot of times in unions, he was a union carpenter, they talk to the undermen, we'll call them the new employees, like dogs. It's kind of a rite of passage. But I wasn't going to put up with that crap. Nobody's going to talk to me like a dog because I'm not a dog. We teach people how to treat us. And now some of you guys too, because you back down from people like that, you back down from people who wanted to fight you or who were going to hurt you, you back down from your women. And a woman doesn't like that. She may stay with you if you're a good provider, but if you can't stand up to your woman, how can she expect you to protect her and stand up to someone who's going to assault her? Because she wants to feel safe with you. Now, in our society today, a lot of women think, well, no, I don't need a man to protect me. I can take care of myself. Yeah, because, and I've said this many times, because men have developed such a safe world for women that they believe they don't need a man to protect them. Yeah, they think that. But who are most of the policemen? Policemen. Policemen. Yeah, think about that. There are police women. Okay, who is in the services? The Army, the Navy, the Marines. How many women are Navy SEALs? How many women are Green Beret? Think about all this and the other special forces. How many women are doing that? There may be, I don't know, I didn't check, but there may be one or two, maybe. Or I doubt if there's any in the Navy SEALs. I don't think there is. Or has there ever been? There's a reason for that. Men and women are different. We're not the same. You as a man will never have a baby. I'll never have a baby. And a woman will never be able to do some of the physically, some of the things that desire a certain physical biology that a man can do. It's just the way it is. So, but men are made to war. That's just, I believe in love. I wish the world was all love and we all loved each other, but it's just not the way it is. Am I a loving man? I like to think so. But to me, love is not, oh, I'm so in love with you. Many times I told a girl that I loved her years ago, and I probably would have been more honest to say, I want you. I want to have sex with you. I lust you. There is a difference. Love, to me, this is my definition, is a verb. It's an action. When I'm driving down the road and I see someone have an accident and they may be hurt, maybe the car's on fire, maybe it's not, I stop my car, I go there and see if I can help. I don't know these people. That is an act of love. To protect someone you don't know. Let's say you're walking down the street and you see an older woman being assaulted. To help her out, to protect her, to stop the assailant. That is love. You don't know these people, you know you're not going to get anything back from them. That is an act of love. I had an opportunity here a while back. I went to the carnival, the 4th of July parade, or festival up in Hannibal, Missouri. Kids and I like to go up there, and we're walking down the sidewalk, and I don't know, I think one of the kids said, "What's that?" And I looked down there, and it just looked like a piece of rubber or something. And I looked at it again, so I reached down to pick it up, and it was someone's money clip. It was leather and had all his had his conceal and carry card in there, credit cards, $204, two $100 bills, and some money, and other identification. So of course I could have put the money in my pocket, threw the billfold away. But what's $200? I wouldn't care if it was 200,000. It wouldn't make any difference to me. An act of love, and if you're a loving person, you're going to do what you can to find this person to give him his belongings back. Because how would you want to be treated? Man, when you lose your billfold or something like that, it just sucks. It's not the money, it's the cards. You got to cancel all those cards. You lost your driver's license. And of course, he had the conceal and carry card in there. He also had his girlfriend's driver's license in there. And I was thinking, he was from out of state, Georgia, I think. So I was thinking, man, if this guy's got to fly back next day, he's not going to be able to get on the plane. So from that moment on, when I found it, I wanted to find this guy so I could give this back to him. And I also know how it feels when I lose my billfold. So I go through the cards. We try to find him. We can't find anything with a phone number. No friends' phone numbers. We can't find him on Facebook, so well, we go ahead and we do our thing in the evening. We have a good time, and I come home. So I get on Facebook, and I start looking through the names on there. I found a guy that just had pictures of guns on his Facebook. So I thought, this is probably him, but he looks like one of those guys who never answers his messages. So I sent him a message. So that was my thought, my intuitive thought, and I was right, because I talked to him later and he said, yes, I never answer my message. But I found other people with his last name, and I would just send them a message saying, hey, I found this billfold, this is his name, do you know him, or whatever. And sure enough, they contacted him, he contacted me. Long story short, he came here, picked up his belongings, and it was the same as when he lost it, and he went his way and I went my way. Now, I didn't do that because I'm some great guy. First off, I did it because I know what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. You can't do anything to or for someone that's not going to come back to you multiplied. And I've lost my billfold before, so I know how it is, and I know how great it feels when someone gives it to you, you find it. It's such a relief because of the important documentation you have in there. And to say nothing about the money. So that to me is love. That's loving your neighbor. I'll probably never see that guy again. He did give me $50. He offered to give me a reward. He said, I want to give you some money. Do you have Cash App? I said, well, I'll take it. I'm not going to refuse it. So he gave me $50. I didn't need the money, but I allowed him to give to me to show his appreciation. And when anyone offers you something, take it if you can, because you don't want to block the flow. To be able to it's easy to give, but you have to have your hand open to receive also. You have to open your hand to give, and you have to open your hand to receive. So if you don't want to stop the flow of abundance in your life, give, but also be a grateful receiver too. Don't deny someone the opportunity to give to you. Many times people have too much pride. Oh no, I don't need it. It's okay, you don't have to do that. Well, I didn't need the money, but I wanted to allow him to do that because he wanted to. He wanted to do something for me. He was talking about, oh man, they were telling me I was lucky to find an honest guy and all this. It should be the other way around. It should be if you lose your billfold, that if you didn't get it back, that would be rare. But unfortunately, in our society, it's rare if you get something like that back. But the people don't realize it's not finders, keepers, losers, weepers. If you find something that's not yours and you keep it, guess what's going to happen to you down the road? You will lose something of its equivalent, usually more than its equivalent, will happen to you down the road. Now, you may not be able to connect the two things together, but that's the way life works. But I got off on a tangent there about love. Oh yeah, I was talking about, I wish the whole world was full of love and we all loved each other, but that's not the way it is. And as men, we have this desire to fight. Now, we don't have to go out there and beat up people randomly on the streets. We have boxing, we have UFC. And if you're scared to death to fight, I recommend that you go learn how to do that. Get punched in the face. As I heard, what's his name? Donovan. Yeah, Donovan Sharp, is that his name? He was on the Dude Party with John Modern Life Dating. He talked about he got knocked down once. A guy knocked him out. As soon as he hit the ground, he woke up. But he was talking about, and then the guy jumped on him and beat on him a little bit. But anyway, he was talking about the way he felt exhilarated after that, how he felt good. Now, a lot of you guys think, how could you feel good after getting beat up? But I'm here to tell you, I got beat up a lot in the gym, and I lost some fights too, competitive fights. And there's something about that because the warrior within us desires to have competition. It desires to have that feeling of adversity, that challenge. Many times I got out of the ring when I'd worked out with someone who was better than I was, who was more experienced than I was. And I got beat up pretty good, and I felt like $1 million. You can't understand that unless you've experienced it. Does it make any common sense? No. If you tell someone, hey, I'm going to beat you up and you're going to feel great afterwards, you'd be like, you're crazy, man. You need to get evaluated or something. But it's true, because we each have that warrior within us that desires that ultimate competition where you don't know. You could die. More than likely not in boxing or UFC, but it could happen. Anytime you get in that ring, you could die. People have died from it. Why do you think people bungee jump? Why do you think people jump out of parachutes? Why do people climb mountains? Sometimes people die doing those things. We need that as men. And if we don't have that, we sit around bitching and moaning and complaining about little things and creating situations that don't make any difference, that don't matter to anyone except you, because you need some kind of adversity. So you create some kind of thing about, I'm not even sure I can say things. I got to stay away from saying anything that might press anybody's buttons or offend them. But you understand some of the things people are offended about nowadays. My God, if you think you can go through life and the world without being offended, you better, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen, okay? So what if someone doesn't like you? So what if someone doesn't like the color of your skin? What does it matter? I lived in a foreign country and I got discriminated against. Yeah, they charged me more money. They treated me differently. They tried to take advantage of me, etc., etc. So what? Who cares? What does that have to do with me? Did I cooperate with that? No, I didn't. When I was confronted with it, I dealt with it. And that's what men do. That's what warriors do. They don't sit in a corner and cry and bitch and moan and complain about all the terrible people that are treating them badly. They're offending me. They're not giving me the respect I deserve. Why doesn't everybody just accept me? Well, guess what? You'll find in life, when you accept yourself, it doesn't matter what everyone else does. And many times when you really accept yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, those people out there will miraculously disappear, or they will act differently towards you. Because we do teach people how to treat us. How can it be, you say, Mark, when I've never met these people? You're still teaching people how to treat you by the aura, by your energy that you put off. That's why I can walk in a room like I own that place. And guess how people treat me? They treat me like I'm somebody, because I feel and I believe I'm somebody. I'm a fucking 10, okay? Do you believe I'm a 10? I don't care, but that's the way I feel. I don't have to compare myself to other people. When I look in the mirror, that's what I see, that's what I believe, that's what I project. Now, why am I telling you that? Because you can do the same thing. That's what I teach people. When you walk in that room, you walk in there like you own the place. You walk in there with your head held high, your chest out like a soldier. You stop, you scan the room. You look around at people. If you see a good-looking girl, you stop, you pause, you look at her until she looks away. Then you continue to scan the room, somewhat like a Secret Service agent or a bodyguard. You're checking out the whole situation. And you proceed to wherever it is you want to go. Maybe you saw someone that you knew, so you walk over there and talk to them. It's not about being rigid. It's about being comfortable in your surroundings and having control over yourself. You cannot control the situation out there, but you can control yourself. And you'll find that when you control yourself, the warrior within you will precede you. People will treat you with respect. Now, you may meet someone that tries to find the chink in your ego or your armor or whatever it happens to be. But it doesn't matter. When you feel that way about yourself, when you believe you are that, when you think you are that, like my old boxing coach said, you are what you think you are, and thus you project that outward. A lot of you guys think that you got to have these lines, these tricks, these PUA tactics, whatever, and I'm sure you can get laid with those. But it's who you are on the inside that counts. That's who people see. A lot of you guys think, oh, you got to be good looking, you got to have a six-pack ab, you got to have this, you got to have that, got to have the money. That will get your foot in the door. But if you don't have game, and that's what I'm talking about here, a warrior has game because a warrior believes in himself. He has inner game. That's what attracts people to him. That's what makes people want to follow him. He is not afraid. Well, I guess he has fear, but he faces that fear. Let's put it this way. He's not afraid to face his fear. I know on that show I was watching, Andrew Tate was talking about, who's the big blonde-headed guy? I can never remember names. But anyway, he challenged this guy to a fight. But he was also commending the guy for what he was doing. Andrew thinks he can whip the guy. I'm not sure who will win. I think Andrew probably would win, but who knows? I would like to see them fight. The point is, this is what men do. They challenge each other. Now let's say those two guys get in a fight. More than likely, they'll both have more respect for each other when they're done. And that's what people don't understand either. I fought guys years ago, back in the 70s. There was still a lot of racism going on. The blacks and I got in a lot of fights, okay? I was racist, they were racist. They would come to the dances or the parties after about the time it was over, and there would be some fights. Today, I respect, we talk, we laugh about that, we respect each other. That's the way it works. That's the warrior within each of us, and that's how that manifests itself in life and within you. So don't back down, and if you're afraid to confront your fears, people who bully you, then learn how to fight or how to speak so you can handle these situations. All right, I hear somebody at my door, so I'm going to cut that off now. Thanks for joining me, and once again, thank you to my 1,410 subscribers. And I'll shout out to Wade Emery. He's a loyal subscriber and a follower. He donates to the channel, and that helps out a lot, Wayne. I appreciate you. Take care.